Today, I want to talk about regret, specifically my own. So, I was always the kind of person that said I didn't have regrets. If you ask me what's your biggest regret, I was like, I don't have one because I genuinely believed that God would work everything out for my good. Like, I believed that no matter where I was, no matter what I was doing, even if I didn't like where I was in that moment, I believed that everything will be okay for me in the end. This quote from the best exotic marigold hotel was 100% me.
Everything will be alright in the end. So if it is not alright, it is not yet the end.
But as I've gotten older, and maybe you can relate, and I know I say this all the time, but as I've gotten older, I've realized that if I want something to happen for me, then I have to make it happen to some extent. I need to put in the work to make it happen. And that is legitimate because I am pushing 30, guys. Not quite, but almost. My decisions just weigh more now because I'm getting closer to my 30s. I'm very well into my adulthood at this point. But as I've come to that realization, I've also started to overthink my decisions. I've been overthinking decisions I'm about to make or decisions I made in the past. This is where the regret comes in. I start thinking, oh, what if I went to a different university? Shout out to Farmers. What if I studied something else? What if I took a different elective? What if I fought harder for my first choice of extracurriculars instead of staying with what they gave me? What if I took piano lessons more seriously as a kid? Or what if I took TV more seriously as a kid? And what if I really studied it younger so that when I got to university, I knew what I was doing? I have all these different thoughts and I have these regrets. Like, maybe I should have done something else. I wish I would have done something else. Especially last year. I feel like 2025, I was just very anxious. And so all those thoughts really got stronger because I was like, well, would I be here right now if I had done something different in the past? And I'll tell you where this regret hit me specifically. It hit me when I was at FanExpo last year. It was my first time there. It was very exciting. It was very fun. I've always wanted to go to a Comic-Con FanExpo sort of thing, but I'd never been. I used to watch all the Comic-Con videos like in university when the Marvel cast goes, or like cast of the Flash, all the Arrowverse TV shows, and I would watch all their cast interviews, Riverdale, and I'd be like, oh, this looks like so much fun. I would like to be there, but I never pursued that, I never pursued that thought. It was just a nice thing. And then living here in Toronto, obviously FanExpo happens every year, and I would always find out about it like when it was over or just as it was about to be over. I'd be like, oh, I missed it again. So I'd be like, okay, maybe next year, and then I'd forget, and the next year would pass. Same thing. But last year, I saw an ad on Instagram for FanExpo 2025, and I was like, okay, this is my chance. Like, I've seen it months in advance now. Maybe I should try to get a ticket. Maybe I can go. And then I thought, oh wait, Screenfish maybe will go to this. If you don't know, I'm a staff writer for Screenfish. And I was like, let me just see. I was like, hey, are we going to FanExpo this year? Could I possibly get approved and tag along? And we were, and I did, and I went. And it was so much fun. I wrote on my social media that it was very important for my soul being there because it truly was. Like, especially with the year I was having last year, I really appreciated being at FanExpo. And I think it was so significant for me for 3 reasons. The first one is that it felt a lot like university. And I personally really enjoyed being at university. I liked what we were learning. I liked that I got to study TV for school. And I just liked being around people who were also studying the same thing. Being at FanExpo, I got to go to some panels that some artists and writers and producers were having for their projects. I just went in. I didn't even know they happened. I wandered into a lot of them. But when I was there, just listening to them talk about their careers, their projects, their processes, and then being in this room full of 20-somethings who, I know I'm 20-something too, but they're younger than me, younger 20-somethings, just asking questions and being like, oh, well, I'm studying animation here and I'm doing this. How can I get here? How can I get here? And these people are actually engaging with their questions, giving them in-depth advice and really thoughtful answers. It was just very inspiring for me. I was just taking it all in, and I had this feeling that I had when I was in university, which is I'm in this space right now and I'm learning so much, and I'm learning about things I think are interesting, and I feel like I could leave this place and I could if I went and I applied what I was learning, what I heard today, then I could be like this person on the panel, or I could be my own version of this person where I could create something that I think is really cool and I could talk about to other people and give other people advice and just have really interesting discussions. So that was the first thing. I found that very, just very nice. It was very nice. The same way, like being in university, being around other people who are studying something similar to me, have the same interests as me, and are working to make those things happen. It's a very inspirational place to be, being around other people who are like that and who are driving you also to be like that, to do more. So that was nice. That was the first thing. The second thing was that I got to be around a lot of nerdy stuff. And I don't think I'm a nerd. I think I want to be a nerd. I'm like nerd light. But I enjoy nerdy things. And it was just nice to be in a place where there was so much of that. And there were so many people there who also really liked nerdy things more than I did and who were free to express that. Like they had this space where they could just be themselves and there was nobody around being like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? Why are you wasting your time? Like people were putting so much time, energy, money even into like cosplaying and into like going to different panels and different things and just wanting to be immersed in this kind of culture. And they were having so much fun doing it and they were doing it just because they could. Like I'm able, why not? And it was just so nice to be around that freedom. I felt like a kid again. Imagine me being 10 years old. I'm 10 years old in Lagos, Nigeria, and my parents are buying me Archie comics when they go to the grocery store, or I'm watching Avatar: The Last Airbender on Nickelodeon and fighting with my sisters and cousins about ships. And then cut to some 18 years later, and I'm in a room with Dan Parent or with Dante Bosco. Like, 10-year-old me would have lost her mind. Like, I couldn't even think that this is something that I would do. And it's not because like I'm doing something really glamorous or like it's so impossible. Like I'm not on stage with them being like, oh, these are my friends. They don't know who I am. I'm in a room full of fans. Like we're all fans, we're all here celebrating. But even then, I don't think it crossed my mind that I could be able to be in a place where people are gathered to celebrate this TV show I'm watching at 10 years old just because they really like it, and that the creators or the people who worked on it would show up and celebrate it with them. That's not something I thought would happen. And I couldn't have planned that out, I wasn't watching TV because I was like, oh, one day I'm gonna go do this. Or I wasn't reading Archie being like, oh, I can't wait to meet Dan Parents one day. I was just doing it because like I'm a kid and this is what kids do and I really like this. So that was another really significant thing. It was like there was so much freedom there. And also it's just like this childlike freedom where you get to celebrate without people questioning your celebrations. It was good. Which brings me to number 3, and this is where the regret kind of kicked in. So I was in line for something and this family went by. I saw this family. It was a father and a mother and a little girl, and the mom and the girl were dressed as Rumi from K-pop Demon Hunters. Side note, shout out to K-pop Demon Hunters for their Critics' Choice Awards. Well deserved. But yeah, the mom and daughter are dressed as Rumi. And I remember looking at her and being like, oh my gosh, if she wants to do something creative in this space, she has so much support from like her family, and she has support from the environment she's in. She has access to all these people who've done these amazing things and who are here. Like she's so young, but she's around them, you know what I mean, from such a young age. And I started thinking like, what is her mind like even open to right now? How far can she go with this if she wants to do this? And obviously, I don't know these people. I'm just having these thoughts. And this is where my regret kicks in. Like, oh, where would I be right now if when I was 5, I had access to something like this, or if I knew about something like this, or if I could have taken advantage of something like this. You know what I mean? And you start questioning, or I started questioning my past and my experiences. But again, I don't know this kid or all the kids that were there. They could do whatever they want, be whoever they want. But I think comparison is a funny thing because it takes your eyes off what you already have or what you have going on and puts them on what you don't have. And I think comparison makes you feel like you are worse off than you actually are. Because Okay, yeah, sure. I grew up in Lagos. We didn't have Comic Con. We didn't have FanExpo, whatever. But I literally just said, like, I was reading Archie at 10. I was watching Avatar with my family, and I am here right now. You know what I mean? Like, I'm doing things that I think are fun and interesting, and that I know that 10-year-old me would be gagging about. That is pretty cool. And not even just like FanExpo itself, all the experiences I've had, the things I've got to do the last few years, like childhood me would be like, whoa, like I didn't even know some of these things existed. I didn't know some of these things were things you could do with your time. But here I am doing them, being happy. I know she is really happy to be doing them as well. And these aren't things that I planned out. I did not envision myself being here in this moment when I went to university. I just found myself here because I was doing things that I thought were interesting, and I was intuitively moving through life, just being like, this feels good. I think this is interesting. I think this will be fun. I'll give it a try. And that all those moments of making those decisions led me to now and to FanExpo last year. And if I even look back over the holidays I was doing this, I was looking back on my life and again feeling that pressure of, oh, I need to make the absolute best decision or else my life is going to fall apart. And I was just thinking back to all the different places I've been, experiences I've had, and how I've never actually planned any of them out the way they ended up happening. The people that I've met and the communities that I've had in different places, I could not have planned them out. I could not have forced all of them to be in the same space as me at the same time. And yet they happened, and I am really, really thankful for each of them, and I'm very happy with how each of them have turned out. And when I realized that I made decisions, yes, and I kind of have been winging life a little bit. Like I make a decision and then I get there and I'm like, oh, how do I do this? Oh, I don't know. I'm gonna figure it out. In doing that, I've really enjoyed my life. That takes a pressure off. Like I don't have to know exactly where this decision right now is going to lead me in 5 years before I make it. I don't need to know all the workings of a plan and how everything is going to unfold in my life. So now this is what I want to do this year. This year, I want to embrace the wing. I want to go with the flow. And obviously that doesn't mean make no plans, but I want to intuitively move through life. And I think I was doing that when I was younger, but I didn't realize I was doing it. So now I want to embrace that. And I feel like if I do that, if I embrace that, if I make decisions because I think they'll be fun, I think they'll be interesting, I really like this, so I'm going to do it, I think I am going to end up where and who I'm supposed to be. I'm going to end up at where and who I'm supposed to be. But I think Uncle Iroh has a more poetic way of saying this.
If I have to, I will spend every day of the rest of my life hunting the Avatar. I know it's my destiny to capture him.
You know, Prince Zuko, destiny is a funny thing. You never know how things are going to work out, but if you keep an open mind and an open heart, I promise you will find your own destiny someday.
That clip is from season 3. That's season 3 Zuko having a flashback to season 1 Zuko. And season 1 Zuko, imagine you're him, right? You're a prince, you're the firstborn son, so you're heir to the throne. And then your father banishes you, so now you're exiled from your country and banished from your community, and your position is in jeopardy. Zuko makes a plan. Capture the Avatar, restore my honor, get back into my father's good graces, and get back to my position. This is what he thinks his destiny is. And if you are a prince, logically, yeah, your destiny is to become king. That's what you think. But his plan did not work out the way he wanted it to. In fact, his plan did not happen. And his destiny was not what he thought it was supposed to be. And I think by the end of the show, we get to a new Zuko who is still king. He becomes Fire Lord, but now he is ruling a society that he has helped craft and not one that his father left him. And that's because he has remained open. Like Uncle Iroh said, he has intuitively moved through life and made decisions in moments that he realizes are best for him and not for what he thinks he should be. And so he's able to get to a place that is his actual true destiny. This is actually who he is supposed to be. And he's able to lead a life and live a life that is actually his. So this is what I want to leave you all with today. Take the pressure off, embrace the wing, and I think we're all gonna end up exactly where we're supposed to be. Happy New Year, and I will see you in my next video.